The objective of this lesson is to learn about strings in Python. So what is a string? A string is a sequence of characters. To create a string, you enclose the string in single or double quotations. Here are some examples. In the first case, I'm creating a string earth by putting the word earth in a single quotations. In the second case, I'm creating a string called Mars by putting Mars in double quotations. If a string itself includes a single quotation, such as when you want to say my friend's book, then you enclose it in double quotations. If a string includes a single quotation and double quotations, such as when you want to say John's father said hello, then you include it in triple quotations. Also, if a string spans more than a line, then you enclose it in triple quotations. To access a string element, you use indexing exactly the same as a list element. The first character on the left has the index of 0, the next character has index of 1, and so on. And also, the last character on the right has the index of -1, the character before last has the index of -2, and so on again. For example, the string earth, the character E has the index of 0 as well as the index of -5. Strings can be concatenated by using the plus sign. Concatenation basically means to add a string at the end of the other string. Here is an example. I have a string earth assigned to variable x. I have a string Mars assigned to variable y. And if I say z is equal to x plus y and then print z, you see that the result is the concatenation of the two strings. You can also repeat a string by using the asterisk. If I have a variable x which has the value of earth, and if I say y is equal to x asterisk 3, I'm implying that I would like to create a string which is the repeat of a string x 3 times. So when I print it, you see that it is repeated 3 times. It is important to notice that when you say x is equal to string 25 is completely different from the time when you say y is equal to the integer 25. These two are not the same. The type of the variable x is a string with two characters being 2 and 5. The type of variable y is an integer with the value of it being 25. Let me show you some examples in the Python environment. Here I'm creating a string which says I love Python. Next, I'm going to access one of the elements of this string. For example, I'm accessing element with the index of 3 and then assign it to a variable called y. And if I print the value of y, you see that the value of y will be 0. Remember that the first index is 0. Next, I'm going to access one of the elements of this string by using negative indexing. When I use the index of -3, you see the value of this is h. Next, I'm going to concatenate two strings. Here I have a string earth and string Mars, and then when I concatenate them by using a plus sign, you see that the result is the two strings attached together. In the next example, I am going to repeat the string x 4 times, and if I print it, you see that the value of a string z is earth repeated 4 times. Next, I want to make sure that you understand the difference between an integer and a string. The variable x here is a string with two characters 2 and 5. Variable y here is an integer. So if I try to add x plus y, it is obvious that I get an error because you cannot add an integer to a string. What you can do is convert x to integer, and in that case, if you add it to y, you will see that the result will be the sum of 25 and 34, which is 59. However, if you convert integer y to a string and add it to x, the result, of course, would be 2, 5, 3, 4, because in this case the plus sign means concatenation. So what did you learn in this lesson? You learned how to define or create a string. You learned how to refer to individual characters in a string. You learned how to concatenate strings by using the plus sign. And you learned how to repeat a string by using the asterisk or the multiplication sign.